Chapter 1 Banishment. "Load 'em up, all of 'em! The Lord Commander wants them out by nightfall," screamed the lieutenant as his men were forcefully loading the traitors up into the old, shabby cargo ships. It was an eerie and rainy night. Families held each other close as they were being forced from the only home they ever knew, for a reason that they all stood behind. They were being banished for their crime against Lord Commander Willingham. As the small congregation was finally loaded up, the 8 men that stood against Willingham's cruelty were the last to step aboard the 3 ships. Willingham wanted to make sure they could see their parting gift. Willingham shouted, speaking to one of the 8, "Cousin Charles, I think you're forgetting something." Willingham pulled out Charles's wife's bloody head from a basket and kicked it towards his feet. Charles had almost no time to react to what he saw as Willingham's men threw him and the rest of the 8 into the ships. The cold, rainy wind caught the sails and they were finally off. Once the ships were in open water, Willingham ordered his men to load the 1 ballista they had so they could have a little fun. After 2 shots, the 3rd bolt hit its target and sank one of the ships into the cold, deep water. The men cheered like mad men in the death of innocent people. "The other ships won't make it far, boys. They'll sink before they reach the outer cliffs. We didn't need those ships anyways. We're warriors, not petty sailors," Willingham brutishly laughed aloud. On the ships, the people cried as they saw some of their loved ones sink beneath the waves. They were confused and scared as they saw their only home drift off into the distance, never to be seen again. The people's journey from what they thought it was their end had only begun. 6 days passed. The people were on their last legs. Charles did what he could to comfort those in need, although there was only so much that could be done. They had no food, no fresh water, and were sailing on barely functioning ships. "Charles," Noah called over, "we are gathering, come." The 8 gathered on the quarterdeck, with Noah speaking words of hope, doing his best to inspire the men around him. They had already buried 17 people by placing them into the ocean as calmly as they could. It was only a matter of time before there weren't any survivors. Pearson, one of the 8, looked over at the 2nd ship, waving at his wife and son, wishing he could embrace them. As darkness fell, they went to sleep, not knowing what the next day would bring them. Charles awoke abruptly, thinking he was in a dream. He heard one of the 8, Baxter, shouting the words he would never thought he would hear. "Land ho! I've spotted land in the distance!" Everyone from both ships moved toward the edge, peering to get a glimpse of some sort of hope. It was true, a coastline as far out as the eye could see. "Hurry now, grab an oar from the lower deck so we can guide our way in," yelled Noah. "We're almost there, just a few..." A large crack was heard. It was a sound they did not want to hear while out at sea. The 2nd ship had collided with a reef. With how poorly maintained the ships were, it was mere minutes before the ship and her passengers were taken beneath the waves. Pearson watched in despair as his wife and 6-year-old son perished, with nothing he could do. The sun was setting. The people and the 8 were ashore, looking out to sea, mourning their loved ones that they had lost. Not knowing what to do next, the people just stood there, unsure of what the future holds. "You are all here because of us, the Eight," Charles spoke, turning around to speak to the people. "You are alive because you chose to commit treason towards Willingham. The only home you knew is gone. We're never going back. Your new home is here, the people's homeland, and it will be governed by you, the people. We are survivors, and we are conquerors," Charles yelled, and the people acknowledged. He walked through the crowd with the Eight following him. He turned slightly. "Let's begin, shall we?"